Hello, and welcome back to Password. We're still on Sal's route. We're gonna be in this route for a bit, I think. Oh, I can skip this. Lit. Man, all these conversations I just don't remember. I mean, I'll help. We're gonna support Benson. I'll clean dishes. We'll do glass first. It's all good. It's all good. The only notable time I've been in here recently, aside from last night, was with Sal. Not that there was any way of really looking up information from what I could tell. It was better than nothing. I stopped on a page, looking at the title. Hansel and Gretel. I thought back to when Sal and I were trying to navigate the maze, how he lay a trail behind us to get back to the entrance. Did he know these stories too? Oh, right, Roswell. Okay. Man, bitch, you talk like so much for like no reason. Oh, wait. I thought this was the one for I should probably do this since Sal is there. You know, right, yeah. With Sal there, it seemed unlikely that anything bad was going to happen, given they were in the group of three, but I just wanted to make sure. Although now that I knew why, the smile I had twisted slightly into a concerned frown. From someone that was supposedly afraid of water, you couldn't tell. I mean, these are good boys, right? Like, damn. Dean wandered over to the showers, grabbing a towel on the way. Ty got up to find a towel to dry his feet, and Sal wandered off to find a towel of his own. For a moment, I wondered if I should find a towel too, before realizing I hadn't actually gone into the pool.
Are you alright, Dave?
I guess that's more Orlando's voice, isn't it? Whoopsie. Look, I'm not a trained voice actor. I don't even like acting. I always made fun of the theater kids, like, you know. Oh, it's like oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Oh, yeah, I'm good. How goes drying off?
Fine. Weather isn't so bad today. Sunnier than I thought it'd be.
I thought it'd be different.
Well, the rain we had recently, I had expected more of it.
Maybe the sky just ran out of rain.
I don't think that's how it works.
No, I don't. I know that, but, well, it's sunny. Sun is good.
Yup.
How about you, Sal? Had a good morning?
It's been, fine. Yesterday is weighing on me a bit still. At this stage, I'm just looking for other things to think about while I suppose it's contextualizing it. Feelings are difficult, and keeping Orlando in mind is both painful and concerning.
In what way?
Maybe it's best with an example. Let's say you made Tyson sad.
Why Tyson?
Why not Tyson?
Oh,
If my read is correct, then it's a close enough comparison, is it?
oh my god.
Isn't it?
Well, if I made Tyson sad, I'd probably feel terrible,
And what?
and I'd probably be worried about what I could do to make it better.
Which is where I'm at with Orlando. I have no doubt that it'll be fine. Eventually, it just might take a few things to get there.
I nodded slowly, understanding enough to get where Sal's stress was coming from. Although, if anything, I was wondering more what I could do to help out, rather than a hypothetical scenario where I made Tyson upset. Sal put his pants over his swimwear and turned to me again.
Shall we head inside? It's probably time for you to have another cup of coffee.
Probably a good idea, yeah. Oh, Hey. You like run into Haas anyway, right? That's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that was a lot. Just go.
I'm gonna head out. You two have fun, yeah.
Oh, all right. I waved as Tyson left, turning back to Sal, who was standing by the pool. Compared to Tyson, he was still damp, so he hadn't been the only one swimming, as if his Speedo wasn't enough to give it away. So, what were you and Tyson talking about?
Nothing important, just guy stuff.
You? Talking about guy stuff?
After yesterday, I needed to get some stuff off my chest.
Oh, right. Did you get what you needed, from Tyson? As far as someone listening.
He's, got an interesting take on things. Mind if I talk to you about it for a while, for a bit?
Oh, sure. Should I sit, or?
Sure.
What?
Sure. I'll jump back in the pool, though. I won't get wet.
I'll jump back in the pool, though. I won't get you wet. Okay, that's what that says. That's what it says, yeah. I pulled my shoes off and dipped my feet into the water. Good thing I was wearing shorts today. Oh, stuff with Orlando, I'm guessing.
That's right.
Sal got into the pool and idly floated in place. Anything in particular? You want to start with,
Well, let's see. As far as what Tyson was helpful for, that part is covered.
And that was...
Not important.
Oh, I see.
What's your take on Orlando's state of mind? How do you think he's feeling?
Oh, Orlando's very emotional. I think I'll say emotional. He's very passionate, that's for sure.
That's what I thought too. Do you think he hates me?
What? No, of course not.
You're sure?
Absolutely. There's no way Orlando would hate you over something like that. Sure, he's probably still hurt, but he bounces back pretty quickly.
I wasn't sure if he was just being nice, or or putting on a brave face.
Well, I don't know what you two talk about, but,
Well, love, really. And I.
Sal, are you okay? You're shaking. Sal scrambled to the side of the pool, hanging off the side to rest on his elbows. Hands clutching his head. I scrambled over on all fours, placing a hand on his arm. Sal!
Dave.
I watched as Sal looked back at the ripples on the surface of the pool, silent.
I need to get out of the pool.
He scrambled out, no sense of grace in how he hauled his frame out to just lay on the ground instead of the pool. Hey, what happened? Are you okay?
I'm okay. Promise. I'll be alright.
Does that happen often? Whatever that was?
This is why. I might need some help teaching Orlando to swim.
Oh, hydrophobia, right?
Right, but it doesn't happen often. I feel with Orlando it just might. Tomorrow.
You're going to teach him tomorrow?
No. I'll tell you tomorrow. Everything. I need your help.
All right, sure. Whatever you need. I caught Sal's gaze for a brief moment, for the briefest of moments, before he looked away, mumbling something.
We should head inside. I'll be all right. I just need a decent shower, and I'll be in a better headspace. Then dinner. Then good night's rest.
Did you need some company? Like last night, I mean.
I'll be fine, but thanks for the offer.
Sal retrieved a towel received a towel draped over one of the desk chairs and dried himself, which shouldn't be deck. No, it does say deck. It does say deck. Oh my god. Fuck. Okay, that's fine. Keeping his gaze elsewhere, I tried my best to shake my leg dry and pick up my shoe, figuring that I'd dry out properly before putting them back on. Did you want to hang out for a bit before dinner, or did you want your space?
I need some space, so no, thank you.
Sal wandered off, shoulders slumped and head hung low. I felt bad, but at least I knew the answer tomorrow. I shook my feet dry a little more before hurrying after him, figuring I may as well hang around in my room until it was time for dinner. Despite Sal being hunched over, he moved quickly, disappearing inside long before I'd reached the back door. I wanted to help, but if he needed space, then I'd give it to him. I'd never seen him freak out like that, though. Someone so large suddenly feeling so small was scary. I spent the rest of my afternoon on my phone in my room, thinking of ways I could help. Sal's a good boy. Oh, hey. Hey, Ozzy boy. Sal was in the freezer, frozen, but...
But why? But what?
He was sleepwalking, so someone told him to go there.
Someone?
Orlando and I, well...
Speak, Dave. We're getting nowhere if you stay silent.
Apparently someone's been telling him, using the name, Hypnos,
Well, as one that chose to use a false name, I can understand that I'd come under suspicion.
Right.
And what code did you use into the keypad?
Dreamer. Interesting. I'll stay silent. It is what it is. I shook my head, finding that even thinking that was maybe being a little too hopeful. I was on edge, and I was going to need to go out to unwind. Interesting. Oh. There was only one person who had such heavy footfall. It was hard to tell if he was actively making an effort to stay quiet. He said nothing, instead wandering close to the bed, stopping as if he was trying to figure out if I was awake first. The smell of coffee was enough to make me open my eyes, Sal standing there with the mug held in both hands.
Morning.
There was a slight rumble in his throat as he spoke, the corners of his mouth twitching upward slightly.
Did you sleep well? I brought you some coffee.
I didn't have the heart to tell him no outright, especially as he gingerly passed the mug over.
Dave.
Yes?
What's troubling you?
Is it that obvious?
Somewhat. You weren't up at the first time, at your normal time in the morning. Some of us were worried.
Was that really all?
No. I assumed something was wrong when you looked at me. It was a familiar expression, that's all.
Oh. I sipped my coffee and sip my coffee, pulling my gaze away.
I was wondering something. It's been bugging me for a while, but it's personal. Do you mind?
No, not really. But I guess that depends. What's up?
Have you lost anyone dear to you?
I seized up upon him asking, but nodded slowly. Yeah, my dad.
Your dad? I'm so sorry.
Did Orlando never tell you?
Even if he did, that's something better left to hear from you directly. At least in my opinion. He mentioned it in passing, but talking of the dead doesn't normally come up.
Again, I nodded, slowly, tailing my eyes up from his feet to his hands, held anxiously together as he stood there. Sit, Sal. You don't need a sand.
I'm fine. Just concerned.
About me?
About a few things, but mostly you.
I mean, I'm concerned about you tomorrow, but I'm not worth worrying about, Sal. At least not again. Not about. Well, what's got me down?
How dare you?
Huh?
That's not your call to make. Your friends care about you. It makes sense that those that care about you would be worried when something's upsetting you.
I know. I just don't like talking about it.
Maybe you should.
But why? It sucks.
It shouldn't be upsetting if it doesn't suck. But saying your troubles out loud helps. Helps. Even if no one's around to listen. Or if people keep interrupting you. And it should go without saying that if you want to talk, well, I'm available to listen.
Thanks, Sal. I'll keep that in mind.
Good.
I continued to drink the coffee, occasionally glancing at Sal, who was watching me with an air of curiosity. What about you?
What about me?
Everything going all right on your end?
I don't know yet. It's been a busy past few days. Or at least, busy in the sense of thinking things through.
It wouldn't be fair if I didn't offer the same to you, Sal. I mean, if you wanted to talk.
Thanks, but I'm not sure if I have the words yet. If I think of them, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh.
I should let you get ready, anyway.
Off to do something?
Don't know yet. I'll see what the others want to do and decide. Speaking of, what about you?
Probably take a walk. Use the time to find the words to talk about my problems for later, right?
Well, alright. And if you want some company.
Not this time, Sal, but thanks.
You're welcome.
He backed up slowly before turning around, leaving me to get ready. I swirled the remaining of... Swirled? Okay. The remainder of my coffee in the mug for a moment before finishing it off, setting it off to the side and stretching on my way out of bed. Okay. Okay. I don't really remember that conversation. Oh, that one's fun. Apologize. We're a good boy. Oh yeah, when you're like playing things. Oh no, which one was... Alternatively, I could skip Roswell and see if Sal had a play. Reverse. Oh wait, no, that's not. It's skip, right? Yeah. Skip was... I placed a skip down, shooting Roswell an apologetic look. Sorry, Roswell. Sal's face lit up slowly as he eased his final card down. A skip card as well, just a different color.
I win.
Drat, I was so close.
At least you were closer than me. Only way I was going to win is if neither of you had anything. Even then, it would be dicey.
Oh, well, shall we go again?
If that's the case, I think I might go to the pool.
The pool? Really?
Right. I have things I need to think about. The water might do me some good.
Did you, want some company?
Yeah, I knew. I know I'm probably not the best choice, but I'm happy to be a sounding board if you need it, Sal. No, but thank you, both of you.
I felt Sal's eyes on me briefly before he looked away. I wasn't sure if that was an invitation or a sign that I shouldn't bother asking. I stayed quiet after all the same. Watching him go, he shot me the same look as he left, disappearing out of sight. I think I might go for a wander too. Maybe go enjoy the hot tub before dinner.
Not going to give Sal his space.
Oh, no, I figured he can swim or whatever, and I'll just sit in the hot water. There's enough space where he can be undisturbed while I just hang out, right?
The pool area is pretty big. I'm sure it'll be fine. Besides, just in case he decides he wants to talk him through, what's bothering him, then Dave is nearby.
True.
Well, I better go get changed, and I'll see you guys at dinner.
Yep, see you then.
After swinging by my room to get changed, I head over to the pool. I could already see Sal, although he didn't seem to be here to swim. Instead, he seemed to be sitting by the edge of the pool with his feet in the water, splashing gently. As I entered, he looked up before turning his attention back towards the water. He didn't say anything, and instead just sat there as if I wasn't around. I sat down next to him, slipping my feet into the water and splashing about in the same way.
I was hoping you'd come.
I could still leave if you'd rather be alone, though.
No, it's all right. I think I have the words to talk about what I've been thinking about these past couple days.
Oh, well, I'm able to listen if you want. Sal breathed in deep, shaking his head. He didn't say anything. Instead, he seemed to just watch his reflection in the water. Minutes passed, and just as I was about to get up, he spoke again. Voice held low.
So, my sister.
Oh, excuse me. I froze, sneaking a glance at him before turning his attention to the water. He was staring at his reflection still, and something told me that this was the time to be quiet, rather than butt in with questions.
I've been trying to come up with a way, come out with this for a while, or at least talk about it, but people keep cutting me off. And with what happened to Orlando, I had to tell him to contextualize what my reaction was like.
He sighed again, pulling his gaze up to the sky.
Much like your dad, little Abby,
she's
gone. Yes.
We were quiet for a time, Sal's voice shuddering silently, and held as low as a whisper.
So, when I spoke to Orlando, I had to tell him that the prospect of dating him didn't interest me as much as keeping him as a younger brother of sorts. Part of me feels like I was being a little unfair, but in the same way, I feel as though he was being unfair too.
Unfair how?
I get the impression that he may be seeking something more from me going into things. I have considered it too, perhaps, if things were different. It's only a guess, but did you lose someone dear to you as well, Dave? Assuming you want to talk about it.
I nodded slowly, although left it there.
I see. Recent.
Again, I nodded, and soon enough I felt Sal's arm on my shoulder. He didn't pull me close. He didn't rest his weight on me, but he was comforting in his own way.
For me, it's been years. She died when we were both still young.
When I think of Sal, the concept of him dying seems near impossible. He's so big and resilient, at least physically, that I just assume that it was hard to kill a crocodile. My lack of questioning seems to prompt Sal to explain further.
It's not easy to kill a crocodile. But it's possible. We're still mortal.
Again, there was a pause. Did he want me to ask? Did he just want to, did he just, not want to say? I gulped, turning to look at him. Sal, did you?
I killed her.
Well, Sal, saying something like that prompts an explanation. The comment echoed in my head, and I began to shake. He held eye contact with me, a face a mix of stoic and grave. But I wasn't sure how much of that was me staring to feel a little scared.
I killed her.
As he pulled his eyes away to the reflection in the pool again, he sighed. Did you really?
I may as well have. She drowned. I was supposed to be watching her. I was watching her, but something went wrong. It was my fault. I should have gone in to save her, but I didn't.
But why?
I was scared. The moment she started screaming, I seized up. Only after the screaming stopped, I realized what had happened, and tried to pull her out, but...
He left the comment there, trailing off. It's not your fault. It was the first thing that came to mind, and while I meant it, even I thought it sounded forced. If what he was saying was true, then it couldn't have been his fault, right? It's not your fault. I felt Sal's hand tense on my shoulder. Looking to his face, his gaze narrowed at a point far away, something above the line of water. His expression soured, the frown intensifying, and his mouth turned into a snarl.
Not my fault?
He growled, turning to me. The grip on my shoulder tightened to the point of being painful.
Not my fault? Do you know how many times I've heard that? How many people at the funeral told me that?
I'm sorry. He grabbed me with his other hand, shaking me roughly.
And do you know what my parents said? Do you know what they didn't say, Dave?
His voice was loud, desperate. I hadn't heard him bellow like that, ever. It shook me to the core. Sal, I'm sorry. I didn't know. In the next moment, I was roughly held. The world span. And the next time I had my bearings, Sal had lifted me up and was heading over to the surface of the pool. He had me by the collar, and I hung there, struggling and holding onto his arms, lest he drop me into the water. I could swim, but his snarl was distracting me from such. I'm sorry, Sal!
Stop apologizing. Just stop.
He shook me again, and I whined, scared. He kept telling me not to cry. I kept telling myself not to cry, so much that my fears manifested instead in an anguished wail and said. I watched as Sal's expression softened slightly at first before snapping to one of fear, staring at me over the pool. In stark contrast to how I ended up suspended over the pool, he eased me back down onto a solid ground before releasing me and shuffling back quickly so I was out of arm's reach. We stared at each other for a while, both of us shaking from different reasons, it seems. Sal broke the silence first, his voice breaking, stuttering as he got the words out.
I
didn't make a move. Watching him try and piece his words together, he took a deep breath, speaking once more in a whisper.
I'm sorry.
Again, I was put in an awkward space, wanting to help and wanting to keep my distance. It was It was a feeling that I was all too familiar with, but even then, it wasn't so easy to handle. When Sal dropped to the ground, I took a step forward. He sat on the ground, hugging his knees, or rocking back and forth gently. Sal!
I shouldn't have done that.
No, you shouldn't, but what happened?
Saying it wasn't my fault. It wasn't your. It was. It's what you're meant to say. It's what you're meant to say, even if it's not true. That was the one thing my parents never told me. I apologized over and over, but eventually, I got old enough that I moved out this way.
And then?
That's it. That's my sin, my guilt, my crime, and I live with it every day. It's what caused my hydrophobia, why I don't like talking to people, why I treasure Orlando as a brother.
But he eyed me carefully, and I sat down opposite of him, right where he sat me down.
I worked through it. I'm strong, but the guilt wears me down.
Sal, you're not...
No. Not suicidal. Dean had the same concern.
He knows too?
Not specifically, but I mentioned something once to him, and he took it poorly. Doesn't matter what it was, but he went on about it for days afterwards.
At least he cares.
At least he cares. Like you.
I wondered what I should be doing. Sitting there opposite him felt like I should be doing something more, but also assumed that approaching carelessly might end up with me in the pool. I edged closer, Sal's eyes on me, so as I crawled forward. When I was in arm's reach, I hesitated for a moment before going in for a hug. As I reached for him, he opened his arms and embraced me in kind. I felt all the tension ease from him as I hugged him around the neck, and he patted my back with a sigh. For a brief moment, I was confused as to who needed comforting, but it dawned on me that it was both of us.
Thank you, Dave.
We stayed like that for a while before he eased back once again. Sighing out, he looked tired, rubbing his eyes. His voice was distant, and he looked away, as if talking to someone else.
I'm sorry. I should be better. I need to be better. We've spoken about my problems enough. It's not fair.
Sal!
Please, can we change the topic?
I looked down, frowning. Whatever I was feeling made me sick to my stomach. The feeling that I should help. That I could if I just had something more. Sal?
Yes.
I know it's not the same, but if you want to talk about your sister sometime...
Please, stop.
Oh.
But thank you, really.
Sometimes I wish Dad was still around. He'd know what to do here.
Your dad? Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Unfortunately, even with all the wisdom in the world, there's nothing that can be done. After all, there's nothing left to help with. Nothing that isn't mine alone to deal with.
Oh, I guess I always assumed, or hoped, that the police had all the answers. Dad sure did, at least.
Your dad was a police officer.
Yeah. I was filled with pride whenever I remembered. Whenever I could find the chance to remember, at least. The smile on my face quickly died, though. The fortunate part of remembering those no longer with us was just that. They were gone.
If he had any advice, what do you think he'd say?
Oh, I don't know. He was the one that had advice.
I see. I think I'd rather do police work rather than physical therapy.
A chill ran down my spine at the thought of Sal joining the police force. What if the same thing happened to him? What if... I gripped the fur on my head and started to pull, hoping the pain would force me to think of something else. Please don't.
Why? Healing people is fine. But if I'm being honest, I'd rather protect than heal.
I blinked, confused. What do you mean?
To me, healing people is good, but makes me think I failed at protecting them. But if I could keep them safe before then,
Oh. So when you confronted Dean?
I wanted to protect Orlando. I might not be all that great at it, but I wanted to be. Protecting my brother, or a surrogate of one at least, is important to me.
But going straight into violence?
If you could stop something bad happening by doing the wrong thing, would you? If you had to, would you injure or even kill to protect those who you hold dear? In all honesty, I don't even know if I would anymore. I used to think so,
Sal.
but it was good to get this off my chest at least. I have to thank you for that, even if I was a little rough with you.
Well, you didn't hurt me, so I guess it's fine, but it was scary.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I've been through worse, but what happens now? Should I just give you some space now? I was considering just sitting in the hot tub until dinner, but I can leave if you'd rather,
No, it's all right. In fact, I might join you. You look ready to go, so let me just...
Sal got up and wandered over to the lockers, and I followed. He seemed to have his own locker, pulling out the key from his pocket and starting to pull out the things he stored in there. As I looked to the other lockers, I noticed one of the lockers looked off. The locker not in use were open slightly, with a key in the lock for those to just use them if needed. But one was closed. One was both closed and still had the key in it. I thought back. Sal calling Sal over. Sal, this locker?
Which locker?
Pointing to the locker, I explained. Was the other locker that was taken that day? Was that the other locker that was taken that day?
That locker? Oh, I remember. Yes.
But the key is back now.
I guess so. That's odd.
Sure, but you hadn't noticed anyone using this one, right? You hadn't messed with it?
No, this one is mine. I didn't need to touch the others.
With a nod, I reached out to the locker's handle, testing it. Finding it locked, I went to the key and unlocked it before opening it proper. It was empty, shy of a medal placed neatly right in the middle. I stared at it, still holding onto the door. Carefully, I reached out for it and took it in my hand, pulling it out and closing the locker door. Why is this?
Is that?
Yeah, looks like it.
How interesting.
Interesting how?
Well, I wonder whose locker that is. Likely Benson's of all things considered.
Because why?
If it was locked before the scavenger hunt started, and has a medallion inside, it must be him that left the key in there so we could find it, right? Either way, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have thought to check it.
Really? Not even a little bit curious?
I have my own locker. Besides, that's invading someone's privacy.
I frowned, rubbing my thumb over the engraving. I guess so. But what if someone else put it in there, and Benson just had the key?
Is that likely? Which medal is it?
I looked at it again, and tried to describe it, flashing it to Sal.
I don't know this one.
Is it worth checking with the others?
Maybe. It doesn't really matter unless we start making a checklist, I suppose, right?
I guess so. We stood there in a silence for a bit before Sal wandered past me towards the hot tub. I think I will end the part here, so I will see you around, everyone.